Hey y'all, I have a new word or warning, if you will, that God gave to me to release today. Um, and I'm gonna try my best to make this quick, but I also like to share my thought process as it's just the way that I feel like you'll be able to gain the completeness of what he is trying to say and what exactly, um, you know, led me to receive all of this word from him. So I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, and as soon as I opened my eyes, I started hearing, "Are you going to answer the call?" Let me get to the right page on my notes here. Are you going to answer the call? And um, he's teaching me how to use this gift, and one thing that I'm starting to recognize real clearly is whenever he's giving me a word that he's wanting me to kind of uh, track down for him, if you will, or seek out from him. And so, anyways, whenever I heard, "Are you going to answer the call?" As soon as I opened my eyes, and heard that, I knew that was um, kind of his next word. So I was getting up already to go do my prayer time, and sat down with the mind frame and started praying that he would just lead me to what he was trying to say with that word, and that he would, um, you know, uh, just take me to the place that was going to uh, be where, I found what he was trying to tell me. Anyways, I was praying, and in the middle of me praying, I heard him tell me to go to Hosea. And so I didn't hear any particular verse or chapter, so I just, whenever that happens, I'll just start reading the book from the beginning. And it was interesting because I actually was reading Hosea before I went to bed, and I can't remember why or what led me there in particular last night, but it was just interesting that I wake up and go right back to it. So, anyways, I just began reading at chapter 1, and it I'm gonna just read a little bit. I'm not gonna read the entire uh, portion of everything that I read, but I'm gonna read parts that I feel are relevant. So, the first part that jumped out to me is Hosea chapter 1 verse 2. When the Lord first spoke, first is jumped out real relevant to me. When the Lord first spoke through Hosea, the Lord said to Hosea, "Go take yourself a wife of harlotry and have children of harlotry, for the land commits flagrant harlotry, forsaking the Lord." And if you don't know what harlotry is, he basically was telling him to go find a prostitute. And another view, I guess, or perspective of what harlotry, one who forsakes the true God and worships idols. So he was telling, Hosea to go and find a wife and have children with a prostitute, pretty much. And so, anyways, I continue to read through all the way down through chapter 2. At chapter 2 is whenever a lot of, I guess, the heaviness of the word started to come out. One of the things that was kind of coming to me as I was going through this is I kept getting distracted while I was trying to do my morning time with him, and it was just, a clear example of the fact that it's not always going to be easy to answer his call. It was 5 a.m. whenever he woke me up with that, and I stayed up entirely too late last night watching TV and reading, and so I was tired, but I knew that what he was trying to tell me was something I needed to get up for. And so his call will definitely take sacrifice, but know that it's going to be worth it. And so, anyways, that was something that I felt was real relevant, that his call will take sacrifice, but you have to know that it's going to be worth the time in the end whenever you endure through it. And so, anyways, I continue reading on. One of the things that I feel is relevant and that came to me whenever I was reading through chapter 1 is, what are you committing in your life that is forsaking the Lord and his call? if you're watching this and you're not completely seeking Him, what is it that you're committing your life that's forsaken the Lord and His call? I feel like that's something that He really wants you to ask yourself and take back to Him and let Him show you exactly what it is that's being a barrier between you and Him at this time. The Lord literally told Hosea to find a prostitute and take her to be his wife. That's his call isn't always going to look like what we think it is. You have to understand that that's a big revelation to me that He's saying it's not always going to look like what we think. So anyways, continue on. Hosea takes a wife and has children with her. And I go to chapter 2. I don't want to read through the whole chapter, but if you read through it, it's basically her turning away, rejecting is what I feel like what the Lord is given her, sent her way. I go down to the next thing I wrote down in my notes. I'm trying to stick to my notes here, as that's the stuff that He gave me as relevancy. But Hosea chapter 2 verse 6. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up her way with thorns, and I will build up a wall against her, so that she cannot find her paths. Hosea 2:8. She didn't know it was I who gave her the new grain that she used for the enemy. It was, to me that meant, He gave her a husband. He sent her a husband her way, and it wasn't. At the bottom of chapter 2, verse 7. It says, she will pursue her lovers, but she will not overtake them. She will seek them and will not find them. Then she will say, I will go back to my first husband, for it was better for me then than it is now. So she didn't take the time to realize that it was God who sent her that grain. And that takes me to chapter 2 verse 9. Which says, therefore I will take back my grain at harvest time. And then I'm skipping down to verse 10. And then I will uncover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and no one will rescue her out of my hand. This is a time where God is harvesting. He is separating the wheats and the tares. If you're listening to other prophets, you'll also understand. That is definitely the season that we're in right now. If you're not with God, then you're against Him. I heard that very clearly at this. If you're not with God, you're against Him. There's no in between on that. It's time to fear God and Him alone. If you, I'm back to my notes here where this is stuff that He was giving me. If you choose to hit the shady button when He calls, He will remove His wool and flax that He gave to cover your nakedness, and will not have any compassion on you. It's the season of separation. Are you a wheat or are you a tare? God isn't wasting time. This is the second word that He's given me in the last 3 days, and directed me to release them within that day, without delay. And I understand He can do that anytime, but He's using that as an example for me to see and understand that He's not wasting any time. There's not time to wait, until you get ready to jump into God's call. He's telling you it's time. But this is also a season of restoration. And so with that being said, I feel like what He's saying through that word is that if you're not going to answer His call, there's going to come a time whenever He won't have compassion, and there's not going to be anybody that can save you from His hand. And that leads me to the solution for this. Hosea chapter 2 verse 19 through 20. I will betroth you to me forever. Yes, I will betroth you to me forever. He pointed out to me that he said that twice. Like, yes, just answer my call and you'll be mine forever, in righteousness and compassion. And I will betroth you to me in faithfulness, and then you will know the Lord. He will sow you for himself and will have compassion on you. He is bringing forth people who have not been for him, but will answer his call now. And people that were not his, he will say, "You are my people," and they will say, "You are my God." That's kind of what he gave me, and it just, to me, it means that he's reaching out, he's sending the calls, he's making the phone calls, he's looking for people that's going to answer them, not people that's going to decline and say, "Oh, I'll call him back later." That's not, we don't have time to call him back later. It's time to answer the call now. It doesn't matter your past. It doesn't matter how much background with him that you have. He is ready to accelerate you into position. He's already told me that if you watch my previous video, you'll see the word on that. But there are a lot of people who may have, rejected him in the past, or, whatever it may be. People who were not his, he will say, "You are my people," and they will say, "You are my God." If you answer his call, he's gonna get you to your position. So that kind of wraps it up. I recommend, if this is a word for you, if this has reached you and this is resonating with you in any way, I would go read chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Hosea. There is a part, it just read through. I don't have time to read through all both of those chapters, but just read through it with this word and this warning in mind, because he definitely is using this story in Hosea to speak his message in the word that he gave me this morning. So anyways, just don't hit the shady button on God. If he's calling you, answer. Don't wait and don't delay. He's not going to have compassion, and no one is going to be able to save you from his hand.